from Kenyon? Is that what we've done over
Yeah.
here? Is that?
We've also, I think we can also look at
No?
a farm and make
You sure?
a solar farm.
Where's the stuff?
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Speaking of unbelievable, how unbelievably ugly is that shirt he's got on? That is.
Hey, they just about lost last night. I got damn lucky.
Last night. Oh, you mean about the vandalism? Guys,
Oh, they're vandalism.
reported to the police?
Oh, is this the? Oh, this is the.
Oh,
Is it gonna be
well,
here?
it's-
Is it gonna be up-
I think it ran on North Central today. We have pictures. Yeah, we have pictures of it.
Yeah, it's just that. Is that in your building? Yeah, it's upstairs. in your office, isn't it? This is today.
Oh. Oh, perfect.
Nothing's unbelievable.
Yeah, so closed. Is air conditioner running?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anything, I got a sweater on. I think I've seen the
Yeah.
computer said. Bet you we could save $50,000 a year during the air conditioning. Just a good person.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, sure. Is it time? Is it noon? Yeah. Yep. So now, I guess in the absence of, Commissioner Metzger, I will convey the Board of Elections and turn it over to, our election chief clerk.
Thank you, Commissioner. So the first thing we need to do today is swear in the Board of Elections members. So if you could, please raise your right hand, and if it's easier, you can stand, whatever works for you. And please repeat after me, and the chief clerk is included here as well. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
That I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
that I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
that I have not paid or contributed
that I have not paid or contributed
or promised to pay or contribute,
or promised to pay or contribute,
either directly or indirectly,
either directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
to procure my appointment,
to procure my appointment,
that I have not knowingly violated
that I have violated
any election law of this Commonwealth
any election law of this Commonwealth,
or procured it to be done
or procured it to be done
by others on my behalf,
by others on my behalf,
that I will not knowingly receive
that I will not knowingly receive
directly or indirectly
directly or indirectly
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other
valuable thing.
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
All right, you are so sworn. I'll have you sign this at the end.
It's no good now.
Your wedding one didn't take that long.
It's a long oath, yes.
Yeah.
So we had an executive session on Wednesday, September 18th to receive information about a legal matter. Also an executive session this morning, November 4th, to receive information about a legal matter. And then we need to approve the minutes of the September 13th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
And then if there are any public comments on agenda items only? Not yet?
I don't have a copy. I wish I had a copy.
There's agendas back there. I apologize. That's okay. There would be a public comment period about anything at the end, but do you have a comment about an agenda item?
Wait.
Okay. And then I need a motion to approve election day worker assignments. And so these are the assignments that county employees will be serving during the day tomorrow. We have folks who are working on pre-canvassing the mail ballots. We have other employees who are serving as rovers who respond out to issues at precincts on an as-needed basis. We have the many people who participate in the election night operation, but this is just a listing of all the people who are involved and where they'll be. And it's a long list. You know, we have a lot of people at the county that come together to make the elections work.
I will make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed, nay.
And then the next item is to approve emergency appointments to local election board vacancies. So these are cases where we need to make sure that we have someone in the position of judge of elections, inspector of elections at the various precincts. And so this would be to approve those appointments so that those election boards are staffed. And these are cases where someone may not have been elected to the office, or they got elected and somebody resigned partway through the term. And so we have to then fill in.
Yeah, I will make that motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye,
Aye.
and opposed, nay.
Okay, and then public comment. You have. Come on up.
Oh, come to the podium.
I'm ready to go to you.
I get the podium.
Yes.
I had that on Thursday night. Couple of quick questions here. You know, we have problems going on in this county already. It's not the only county. I've been in conversations with a number of other counties. It's not fun. It's plain stupidity. Some of these people are acting like little kids. Can't even fathom how bad it is. And I'm dealing with some of them where I'm at. It's worse as it goes. Problem I have is, we know that this county is geographically extremely large. Population is down. The state of Pennsylvania is the only state that has no security around any of the halls. Funny conversation. Takes odd how they do stuff. Problem I have is, and a lot of other people I've talked to, what happens? Something dramatic happens, God forbid it does. Do we have a plan? It covers this, and I know darn well we don't. If you do, it's the best well-kept secret I've ever seen in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's something someone better take to heart. Little things are happening. There's been some documentation of candidates running for office now have security. Talked to some yesterday. Locals, bad. Bad. Should never have went that far. Never went that far. Correct, Forrest? No, I'll just say it to you because you are the director of voter services. You run the election. Two of you are here. The third's not. Unfortunately, maybe it should have been addressed properly, differently, rather than have someone make a conversation that during a meeting, what do we do in case of an emergency? An individual here said, what do we do? What do we do here if there's a problem? Said back to the deputy, call 911. That's a piss poor excuse. That's the worst excuse I've ever heard. That's on documentation. Why is that? Can you explain it more? Can't explain. Get cooking bottle washer. Can you explain that? Why was that said? Why was that said?
I don't,
That's a pretty piss poor excuse.
I mean, what I could say is that is probably the proper thing to do is to call 911.
Well, I tell you right now, my indication is call state police ASAP.
Well,
Because here's the fact, here's the problem. You have a very small force. They'd have to come out and mill or Lockheed. We don't have the manpower. So we should have our stuff together.
Well, I think the best way to respond to your comment there is that capabilities are really placed in the right locations to be able to respond throughout the county.
Correct. If that's what should have been said. Unfortunately, I wasn't here to be at that meeting. I was in the hospital. Problem is when you get secondhand information, it's bad. Bad. And you talked about addressing people who are not at the polling places. We have a situation in Woodward Township. We addressed it, I think, very fluently, as I talked to the judge, that she has personal problems. She'll be there in the morning. But I told her she never knew that she has to be there. She's the majority, okay, of the township. He has to sign them ballots that slips on the tape, ticker tapes and all this other stuff. He has to sign it. Because of the fact that Mr. Stromans is in our area, I don't want nothing happening. Because if she don't sign them, what will we do?
Talking about the tape that goes
Yep.
in the polling place?
Yep, and everything else. What would happen?
Well, I think the best thing to do would be for you to finish the public comments, and then it would be better if I.
You want to do it like, you want to dress it like, that's fine.
To respond.
There's different, yeah, I know.
Cameras don't show me here or the audio here.
Okay, so in direction of all this. So maybe it should have been addressed months ago. What the status flow would be. How it would be addressed. In every other election coming forward. This election itself is going to be dramatic. I'll guarantee you 100% it'll be a problem after the fact, and it already started before the fact. Never happened. It all started last election when we had people elected, personnel elected, that left the door wide open for recounts. Not one, not two, the list goes on and on. He'll be right back on knocking on your door, doing it again. Guarantee that. Win, lose, or draw. Guarantee that. That's a sad synopsis. That's all I have. Thank you so much. And thank you down at the end, listen, I wish you'd have said that during that meeting. This after the fact shit's no good. Pardon my French. It has to have something, we have to have something in writing that maintains that people understand. They have to be on their, all the poll workers have to be on their best personal respect, not to talk political stuff during the election or to wear any party affiliation in the halls. I don't know if you know about some of the stuff that I belong to a large national group that has preached this about that you don't do certain things. That's the problem. You can take a horse to water, but you can't drag him there. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate the comments.
To that comment, there shouldn't be any past a certain distance of the door to go into a voting poll. That's the law.
Publicize it. Don't publicize it. No one knows. Thank you.
So I think there were a lot of different points
Yeah.
raised there. I can try to respond to some of them. With respect to the last point about what voters can and can't do inside the polling place as far as expression, I think it actually did just, some of that information did just get published in the newspaper today. And it is provided to the poll workers in the manual that there is no active electioneering discussion of candidates to vote for or against anywhere inside the polling place or within 10 feet of the door. What is permitted is what is considered to be passive electioneering. So if a voter has a shirt, a hat, whatever, they're allowed to wear those items when they go to vote. That's still kind of covered under the First Amendment. They cannot cross the line into saying that you should vote for or against this person. With respect to the security at our polling places, there is a security posture. I understand there are some folks out there who wish that there was more security. It sounds like the question really is, why don't we have security at our facilities. And the problem with that request is that the election code expressly forbids posting police officers at precincts. We simply cannot do that under the state election code. If there are folks who think it should be different, they can pursue that with state legislators, they can pursue an alteration. But currently, the only peace officer that is permitted to be out at the polls on election day is an elected constable. We have some precincts where there is an elected constable. There are some where there is not. We do have these conversations periodically with the poll workers where if they identify someone who is willing to serve as constable, there are ways to get someone appointed into that office, even in the middle of their 6-year term. But that is the only proactive preventative security that we are permitted to put in place at a precinct. Now, that being said, the director is correct. The county has resources that we are able to position in different parts of the county that might be able to respond more rapidly to a polling place. We do instruct the poll workers that if they are concerned about anything, call 911 first, ask questions later. So that there will be an emergency response. And I can also assure the public that, state level law enforcement is well aware of election day. There are plans that are put into place in advance for state police coverage, knowing where polling facilities are in advance. And so there are plans that are made, but it can't go right up to the point where we're going to put a police officer at the precinct. That's a bridge too far. It's not permitted by the election code. If there are no other public comments, I think we just need the board to adjourn the meeting.
So we've completed our agenda for today, so I will deem the meeting closed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, it was fun. There was no coffee, no donuts.
We had it until you show up with that shirt on and then we put it all